Hello, my name is Abigail Springer, and I am studying autism spectrum disorder in the graduate program at Grand Canyon University. So today I'm talking a little bit about dispositions as a teacher. And first and foremost, as an educator, there are certain dispositions that a teacher should possess to be effective and to benefit scholars both educationally and personally. So the first question that was posed was, what dispositions do you possess that make you a successful teacher? The dispositions that I currently possess are that I'm sensitive to my scholars' individual needs and that I promote social justice and equity in my classroom and in my school. So as a special education teacher, I'm always looking to ensure that students' individual needs are being met and that I am helping them or assisting them in meeting those expectations. And those expectations are going to look different for each one of my students based off of their ability, based off of what supports they need, and based off of their disabilities. In terms of social justice, I really focus on teaching social justice in my classroom. Even though I'm an ELA teacher, I really focus on making sure that all of my students feel comfortable, that they feel welcome, that they feel valued in my classroom. And then I've also joined my school's equity team this year. One of the things that I have already worked on is that with a colleague, we created a Google form that we have sent out to all of our scholars, in which we asked them if they have an adult at our school that they feel comfortable talking to, if they were upset, if they were angry, if they were sad, or if they were happy, something that they wanted to share with an adult that was a positive thing. We just wanted to make sure that every one of our students had someone that they felt was someone they could talk to. And for those of the students that didn't list someone that they felt comfortable talking to, that kind of gives us this opportunity to go and figure out how can we help those students find someone that they connect with. So that's one thing that I've been working on already this year, and another thing that I will be working on in the future is that with the equity team, a couple of the colleagues and I, we are getting together and we are creating a presentation to give to our entire staff about microaggressions. What are they? How can we avoid them? And just making sure that we don't use them with each other and we don't use them with our scholars, and then empowering each other to speak out when we hear them. And I think that that is something that's super important, and that's one way that I have been ensuring social justice in our school. And I think those are things that really make me a successful teacher. And of course, there are things that I need to work on. So the second question that was posed was, what dispositions do I need to work on to grow as an educator? And there are a lot of things that I could talk about, but the main one that I want to focus on is how I speak with students. I want to make sure that I'm warm when I'm speaking with students and with colleagues, making sure that the conversations I have are building great relationships, not causing any rifts. I come from a very sarcastic family. I am very sarcastic. The majority of my friends are sarcastic. But when I speak with students, I notice that sometimes when I am sarcastic, that doesn't cause the conversation to go in the direction that I want it to. And so that's something I need to work on as a professional, is ensuring that I am not being overly sarcastic in my conversations, that I'm being warm, I'm being friendly, and that those conversations are positive. Because I want all of those interactions I have with scholars to be positive interactions. And then the last question that was posed is, what does a professional educator look like and how do they behave? What standards guide their thinking and actions? And a professional educator is someone who is passionate and reflective. Now, I think that a lot of people would be like, oh, a passionate teacher, someone who will always teach, and that's what the only thing they'll ever do. When they walk in that classroom, they give everything they have and they take everything home. But I think that that's not my personal opinion. For someone to be passionate just means that when they walk in that classroom, they give that classroom everything that they have. Now, when they go home, they need to be working on themselves, making sure that they are personally healthy, emotionally healthy, physically healthy, spiritually healthy, so that when they walk in that classroom, they can be the best teacher that they can be. So making sure that they have that separation of personal life and professional life. But again, making sure that when you walk in that classroom, you are the best teacher that you can be. And then I think the second most important thing is being reflective. we expect our students to be reflective. We expect them to look at their own work and go, okay, well, I didn't do this so well at this past time. I need to work on that. If I have a student that's not capitalizing letters, I expect them to be reflective and read back over their work, make sure that they are ensuring that they capitalize letters in the future. And I don't want to expect something for my student that I don't expect for myself. So when I walk in the classroom and I notice that a teaching strategy was not effective, or I notice that how I spoke with a student was not effective, that I go back, I reflect on my teaching, and I walk into the classroom the next day with a different strategy, something that's going to reach those scholars better than the day before. We should always be reflective. We should always be working to better ourselves as teachers. And then the last thing, in addition to being passionate and being reflective, is that teachers should hold themselves to a high expectation. This doesn't mean that we can't go out and have fun, we can't have conversations with our friends and family, but when we're in public and what we post on social media should be things that would not discredit us as a teacher. When we walk in the classroom, we don't want a student to look at you and go, well, I saw this that you posted on Facebook, and that to end that relationship with that student. Or for them to see you in public and hear you cursing, or hear you saying things about the students or about the school that are negative, or even how you dress, making sure that how you dress is appropriate, that it's modest. Maybe not always professional, maybe not wearing slacks to Walmart, but just ensuring that if a student sees you, that it's not something that discredits you, that makes them lose respect for you. I think that's super important. And I really think that just making sure that teachers are professional both in school and out of school is important, so that our students and our scholars have the best experience that they can have, that they can learn the most from us that they could possibly learn. I think that those are super important things for teachers to possess, so the students can grow both intellectually and personally. Thank you.